So when you look at the decisions you have to make, I would say the first one is around how you build out your APIs. So go ahead and look at some of the products you use today. And when you look at, there's probably an integration tab somewhere in the settings. And look at the things that are out of the box integrations. And think about how likely it will be that you continue to use that product based on those baked in integrations. And also think about the products that you're using today that don't have those integrations. And start to think about your product and how you show up in other people's products in that same way. And it comes down to your APIs and your relationships. So maybe you've built the right API, but for some reason it's not surfacing in their platform. That might be an issue of awareness in the relationships that you've built so far. It might be your API. It might be some product features that you're missing that somehow don't make you relevant in that particular partner's ecosystem. Solve for those problems, and you're actually going to solve for many people's problems, both your customers and the partners you want to work with. So when you think about R&D, traditionally we would look at your customers and your prospects and to focus groups, interviews, and things like that. And that's still very, very important. But now think about the partners that you're trying to work with. And internally, they're going to have all sorts of different channels for information from their support cases, their call reports, their wins and losses. There'll be third-party products that show up in all those different systems. And if you're not one of them, that's a real problem. And so part of this will be around actually talking to your partners and understanding why you're not showing up in their deals. And they may call out a specific feature or set of features. They may call it a very specific integration. And that might not even be on your radar because maybe your customers aren't asking about it yet. They're not asking about it because you're not even in consideration for a opportunity. Once you start to talk to your partners about those gaps, it's going to reveal possibly some blind spots in your roadmap. So when you look at the partners that are super successful as an SMB, so let's say you have 10, 15, 30 to 100 people, and let's say you're working with a very big company like Google. They're going to make a bet on you because you're moving way faster, you're much more agile, you're super responsive, and you deliver a customer experience that far exceeds the much larger companies in your category. And so even though their most logical route to market is working with the other big companies out there, the ones that are going to help them cross the chasm and break through in a particular segment are often going to be those smaller players. Eventually, those larger players might come into your space, but that's going to be after you've possibly had 6, 12, even 18 months runway with that first mover advantage, because you are so easy to work with, you're so responsive to customer needs, and you're just super reliable. And most importantly, you're hungry. You want to win, and to do that, you need to do things differently. So there's a lot of buzz around AI, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, most AI that's actually happening today is not the super exciting generative AI that we're seeing with things like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude. It's boring old AI. It's machine learning, things like image recognition. The exciting thing is that the more pragmatic, traditional B2B SaaS companies that have been around for 7, 8, 10 years or more, they may have sort of skipped out on some of those more well-established AI solutions because they weren't really getting the feedback from the customers that those were essential. Thanks to this sort of Gen AI hype train, it's actually surfacing up some of those possibilities. And so let's say I have an app where I'm capturing an image already. Why am I not just using off-the-shelf image recognition capabilities and integrating that into my product? And then maybe I connect Gen AI. Maybe that not just reads the image, but also interprets it and provides some sort of text description of that image. So think about those things within your existing solution today where you're really not baking in AI. And don't put it in there just to put in AI and to sort of capture some of this buzz. Look at how it can make you stand out, more firmly establish your solution in your customers' eyes, and make it much stickier. Make it something that's even more essential to what they do every day. In terms of like the longer trends that we're going to see with AI, it's obviously going to transform many, many different industries. B2B SaaS is certainly going to be impacted in many ways. The challenge that we are seeing and that companies are calling out already is that the risk for a B2B SaaS company is that you become a system of record. So whether you are Salesforce or a very big company like that, or you're a more niche, smaller B2B SaaS company, you absolutely don't want to be just a system of record, some sort of invisible thing behind the scenes, like a database. You want to be on the front end so you have your brand established and so you can't easily be swapped out. So where is AI going to show up in your solution? How is it baked into your solution? And how do you make sure that you're doing that in service of critical use cases, not just throwing it in there because this is sort of a near-term opportunity to put AI onto your website? So whatever you do, you should look at the opportunity to use AI in a way that's truly going to make you differentiate, not just add clutter to your solution. You may not have those skills internally, and that's fine. Companies like mine, Found42, have the capabilities, the development resources, and the know-how, and we bring that to bear with you and partner with you so that you can focus on your core features and we can narrowly focus on those AI capabilities that's going to help you take your product to the next level.